Okay, cool. Excellent. So how are you doing today? So everything's going good in your world, I assume. Where are you based?
I am based out of Pennsylvania, but right now I'm currently in Dearborn, Michigan at the Henry doing a culture training.
Mm-hmm. Very nice, very nice. Good. Well, thanks again. And let's dive right in. Paul, I assume Paul gave you kind of a rough idea of what the article was about?
Yep, about recruitment, retention, and how to keep it low with cost.
Right. How to keep it low and how to make it work and really we're looking for some practical ideas and best practices and things like that you've used yourself or that you've seen yourself I think that everybody the obvious answers are pay people more money or have a great corporate culture, but we really want to kind of dig deeper than that and see what are some of the real kind of hard tangible things that people are doing. So let's dive in. So what have you seen on your end? Kind of overview, of some of the best practices for that you've seen for recruiting and retention that really work and that are cost effective.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought up the fact that
Hello? Still there? Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, good. It said, please enter your access code. I'm like, what?
Oh, no, sorry.
That's all right. But anyway, I believe, and I'm glad you had brought up that money isn't everything. Money, you want to make sure, obviously, your wage is competitive in the market that you're in. But if it is, really throwing money at people is not the answer. That's really an external motivator. I think honestly with recruitment and retention really starts with how is the culture of a company. And so for individuals, they definitely want to make sure that they're partnering with a company that has the same values, the same interests, the same desires that they do, even the fact that if they're hugely involved in their community, they want to be a part of a company that is hugely involved in the local community. And so especially with generations that are coming into the workforce, they're actively going on Glassdoor and different places like that and really reading up on companies to see how companies are. So they're really doing their research. And so I think it's important for companies, and I know that what we have done is really invested a lot of time, energy, effort in really creating a culture that really attracts those individuals that have the same likeness as far as the same value structure. And with that same value structure, that creates a strong foundation right from the beginning. And then off of that is where we found, we really promote who we are as a company and see kind of who's interested.
Yeah.
Hey,
right.
Paul's here. I just wanted to let you guys know I was a few minutes late. Sorry about that.
No.
Hello, Paul.
How you doing?
Hi. How are you? Good morning to everybody.
Good
morning.
Well, hey, are you in Dearborn?
Hello?
Because your voicemail said that. Are you in Dearborn this week?
Yes, I am in Dearborn. I fly back home tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
I don't know. I'm doing a training.
Oh, cool. Did Tom give you I'm based in Michigan too. I don't know if Tom gave you any background on my tie in here, but I actually was part of the grand opening way back when the Henry first opened or reopened, I guess, after the renovation. I kind of helped way back when with the PR for that. So
that is awesome.
Yeah, it's a fabulous place. So, no, I don't want to divert from the conversation. I just wanted to let you know I'm here. So, carry on.
Cool.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again for joining us, Paul. Always good to hear your shining, happy, cheerful voice in the morning.
Thank you very much.
Oh, all right. So we were talking about company culture and presenting that to people and letting them basically decide if it's the culture for them. I mean, what are some of the ways that you I guess present that and articulate that to people? I mean, it's company culture is kind of a broadly used term and it means a lot of things to a lot of people. So what do you find are the best ways to really kind of convey that in a way that, means something to the applicant?
Yeah, that's a great question. So obviously having a well-defined corporate culture is important, and having words to it. So for us with Greenwood, our culture is the Greenwood effect. And it's engaged, fun, while getting our work done, obviously, flexible, equipping and empowering. And I won't go into all of the details with that, both community, internal, external, and trust. And so from that baseline, having that clear communication on who we are and making it kind of catchy so people can remember it is the first thing. And then how we share that is obviously we love to utilize our ambassadors that we have to really get the word out. That's a great avenue for us. When someone's having fun in their job, they want their friends and their family to come and work with them. So employee engagement is really important in recruitment. Also social media. We utilize social media quite a bit to post positions, but also to show our culture. And kind of say this is who we are, and then people come to us and say, hey, what do you have to offer? But really, social media again is important to us. Employee engagement we have a employee referral bonus program that we utilize quite a bit. We love relationships, so we really connect with our local communities. Whether it's schools and colleges, local agencies, with that building of a partnership and relationship with those in our local community, we want us to be the first on their mind when they have a candidate that's looking for employment. Oh, we know, okay, in Harrisburg, we know the Hilton in Harrisburg is looking. Let me call up Rebecca. Let me call up, whomever. So really building relationships in the local community is also really important. And even, giving back to the local community. So, like, for example, some of our chefs, they're heavily involved in their associations, but also they may do some training at the local culinary school. So getting ourselves out in the community is also a nice recruitment strategy as well, because we're the first on their mind. Right.
Okay. So, do you find that the approach to recruiting has to vary based on the position? I mean, for example, if you're recruiting housekeepers or other line level employees versus trying to find revenue managers or sales and marketing people, or people that are more like a full-time salary type position, does the methodology have to change at all based on those roles?
I think the foundation is the same as far as making sure people know who we are. However, I believe the avenues are a little different. Gone are the days of if you post it, they will come.
Yeah.
And so strategically thinking, where are these candidates at? So, housekeepers, we wouldn't be posting really positions on, high level, like, for example, H careers or, even though there may be some room attendants that are on H careers, we find better success with the engagement of the local community. There's even like the unemployment agencies that are out there, or certain states have, for example, in Pennsylvania, they have CareerLink, which is a government agency that helps people, they find employment. They do a lot more than that, but one of the things that they do is they help people find employment. So we find a lot of line level candidates through them, Catholic Charities. So a lot of different agencies work well with line level, but again, when you're looking at executive level positions, some of the approaches are a little bit different, and some of the locations that we need to look into are different as well.
Right. Now, I mean, it's interesting too, because those two varieties of employee, if you will, I mean, it seems to me, at least on the surface, that they're looking for kind of different things. I mean, if you're an hourly level employee, of course, the question is going to be what am I getting paid per hour? Whereas, if you're a salaried employee or revenue manager, somebody that's higher up the food chain, you're going to be looking for a different type of compensation package. I mean, kind of what are your, the company culture stuff is great. I mean, how do you handle though, the actual competitive wage aspects and the benefit packages, aspects of attracting those candidates for each of those types of roles?
Yeah, so with the wage side of things, we like to make sure that we are competitive, so we do wage surveys. A lot of our properties, they put together like a wage survey. They reach out to their local hotels in the area, the similar concepts, and basically they request information that's confidential, put it together. So we really look and make sure that we are competitive in the market. Again, one reason is making sure that we do wage surveys, whether we do it ourselves or we go with a third party and purchase it. Also, on the benefit side of things, yearly we go to the table and look at our benefits, and we want to make sure that they are competitive, and we don't mind, switching providers if it's better for our ambassadors. And also there is flexibility that we have, that we've learned. And so, for example, a couple years ago, we changed our vacation policy, to make it more attractive. And so really kind of keeping a pulse and hearing what candidates are saying. So if I'm recruiting in the interview, I'm talking about the benefits package and I'm hearing the same groans from candidates, I want to listen to that. And we have, and we've been flexible with updating our policies, including benefits packages to, again, make it more attractive. And really, there are some baselines of good practices to do, but there's also the side of it, the human factor as well. And everybody is motivated by something different. So in the interviewing recruiting process, it's important for the recruiter to find out what that candidate is looking for as well. So to one person, it may be more benefits. Like one individual that I interviewed the other day, one reason he was wanting to leave his current employer is because they were getting rid of 401k, and that was extremely important to him. Or maybe another candidate's like, yeah, that's okay, but to me, I want more of a work-life balance, and I'm interested in vacation. So really understanding what the candidate is looking for in the process will help the recruiter, create a win-win to the best of our ability.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and at the same time, you know, you can't really, you know, obviously you can't jump through hoops, you know, completely for every single individual person, right? So, I mean, how do you find a way to, you know, what are the things that you find are, you know, kind of the most important that, you know, the majority are looking for? So if you made you know, an upgrade to your vacation policy, or you made an upgrade to another element of your benefits package, I mean, what are the ones that you think, you know, kind of have the most appeal to everybody, you know, instead of just, you know, each individual person?
Yeah, I think that the vacation was a nice change, where we went from you start accruing vacation after 1 year to you receive 5 days of vacation after 6 months of employment and an additional 5 days on your 1 year anniversary. So that I've seen what has been a positive across the candidates that I speak with. One thing that we do with our insurance package is it's a la carte. So medical, we have a base, a middle, buy-up plan, dental, base, and a buy-up, and then a vision plan. And again, it's really an a la carte type of a system. So it gives our ambassadors the power to choose what medical coverage works best for them. So I've found that has attracted candidates. Instead of saying, here's a benefits package, like it or leave it. It is what it is, you know.
Right.
Where to give them the flexibility, if they have their doctor on speed dial, they probably want the buy-up plan, or if they don't know who their primary care physician is, then they may want the base or the middle to be on the safe side. So it really gives them the power and the flexibility to choose what works best for them and their family. So I found that that's been very attractive as well.
Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, that makes good sense. And I mean, what are, you know, once you do, just jumping around a little bit, once you do, you know, have your hires in place and all that good stuff, I mean, what are some of the things that you find that are effective, you know, to sort of just make that workplace better, on a day-to-day basis? I mean, what are some of the things that you've done that, you know, keep people happy once they're there in their roles?
Yeah, I think really making sure that they have the tools, the resources, training, the support that they need. So basically equipping them with the tools and the information that they need to be a success, and then letting them loose. One of the reasons we call our employees ambassadors is they are a representation of who we are on a very foundational level. And so then letting them loose to be empowered to wow guests, to solve issues that arise, and to improve their sphere of influence. And so that can engage them as well. We also love to have fun in the workplace. The hospitality industry is a passionate industry, you know, where, yeah, you have hard times, you have challenges, but honestly, when a group of people overcome a challenge that seems impossible, but it is accomplishable, they grow together. So in the midst of challenges that the hospitality industry brings, having fun in the process, obviously, while getting our work done, you can kind of tell that it allows people to enjoy. Obviously, people are a part of that. So the team getting to know each other. So what are some things that we put into place? We have each property is a little bit different, but 1 month we had a bucket list. So people wrote down one item on their bucket list, and they posted it on a billboard or an employee board by the break room. And so people love that. They got to know their peers. And so different things like that to keep them engaged. Flexibility is also really important. One property, just something as simple as at one point they would only allow guests to to go in and work out in their fitness center. Well, what they did is they opened it up to the ambassadors on off-peak times, and it was almost like you were giving them the world. So, you know, caring for your team, I think, is what keeps them, and listening to them. They have a voice. They have a perspective. So all of those little things kind of tie into, you know, keeping them here.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and you know, you mentioned a good point. You mentioned is that, you know, that it is fun. The hospitality industry is fun, and there is kind of I guess a vibrancy to it that maybe some of the other industries out there don't offer. I mean, do you find that when you're dealing with hourly employees and you're faced with you know, employees who are kind of looking at what you're paying per hour and deciding whether or not they want to work for you, or they want to work for the hotel down the street, or they want to work for Walmart, or they want to work for Starbucks. I mean, do you find that you're kind of competing to attract people from that broad spectrum of different employers that are out there? And do you find that that's what you were saying about the benefits of hospitality? Do you find that that's enough to sway people, you know, versus, you know, somebody who's going to say, well, you know, I can make $1 more per hour if I go to Walmart or Starbucks? I mean, do you think that's enough to attract them?
If someone's main motivation is finances, maybe not as much. Especially, and I keep going back to like room attendants. That is a hard job. They are our unsung heroes to go into a room and you don't know what you're walking into, cleaning someone else's mess at least 16 plus times a day. Oh my goodness, you know.
Right.
So, and really the pay compared to other industries is not as high. So I think what we try to do to really keep them would be, you know, that camaraderie, the really celebrating them, celebrating their wins. You know, some of our properties, they've had fun challenges, you know, where they may hide a $1 bill or a $20 bill in a certain part of a room, and, you know, if the housekeeper finds it, they keep it. You know, so really kind of breaking up the monotony. You know, routine lulls the brain to sleep. So when we can kind of spark spontaneity into something like cleaning rooms on a daily basis, and that's kind of what we've done to kind of keep folks working with us. And really, I find with room attendants is it's the team, the people, the environment. They feel like they're a part of a team is kind of what I found keeps people. Now, again, if someone's only looking for money, they wouldn't stay along with us as a room attendant.
Right.
Or
right.
anyone in the industry, because, again, you said it correctly. They can go to Walmart or somewhere else and make more money.
Right. And then they wouldn't be cleaning up some of these nests 15 times a day, or like you said, right.
Yep.
Interesting, yeah. So, I mean, and then on the other end of the spectrum, I mean, when you're talking about the you know, the higher level, staff level salaried employees, I mean, you know, again, you know, I hear that it's a very competitive market right now for, say, for example, for revenue managers. I mean, how do you, you know, what's your philosophy for competing with your other hotels out there, to get that sort of skill talent that can be so hard to find? I mean, is it about, you know, paying the best salary, or, I mean, how do you kind of, differentiate yourself among the other hotels out there, for those types of employees? What do you think your advantages are to attract someone, you know, say a revenue manager?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think for me, I've seen a shift even in the mindset of management candidates. You know, where they have a certain quality of life that they want to maintain, and sometimes we are way out of that range of what they're looking for as far as salary. But I found again where a lot of times people have been and are willing to even take a pay cut for a little bit more quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to be in a culture that is conducive to what they're looking for, to feel like they are making a difference in the place that they're working at. So I've seen, honestly, a shift in even the mindset of management directors from it's only about how much I get paid, which is extremely important because bills don't go away. But again, I'm finding that there's a shift in what people are desiring. At the end of the day, they're desiring a little bit more of the work-life balance and the culture end of it. And then secondarily, the benefits and the pay.
Right. Right. So, I mean, what can you do? What are some of the quality of life benefits, for example, that you would stress to, if I was a candidate for, one of those director type level positions? I mean, what would be some of the quality of life benefits that you would stress to me that, kind of set you guys apart from the competition?
Yeah, I think for me it starts at the top with the team practicing what they preach. We had a corporate conference closer to the beginning of this year, and one of the items on our agenda was work-life balance, and they set structures and systems in place to be mindful of that. So, for example, and this is kind of a little bit of a funny example, one of our principals lifted up his cell phone, and he said, "What did we do before we had these hooked to our hips? When we left our office, if someone called in, they left a message." He said, "Yes, I get, you pick up the phone if an owner is calling, or if there is an emergency, yes, you pick it up. But if it's not an emergency and it's after hours, that it can wait to the next day." So that's just one example of several different ones where we've intentionally put things into place to make sure that our team is not getting burnt out. And so being intentional is the first thing, and some individuals, they just want to keep go, but rallying around the individual to say, "Hey, take some time off."
Yeah.
Well, and even changing the vacation policy, instead of having to wait a year to start accruing vacation, you get 5 days after 6 months, and then another 5 days after a year. So for us, we've made it intentional for our people to start to create that work-life balance. Because this industry, we never close our doors. The hotels never close their doors. So it could literally, overtake someone's time, energy. And the sad thing is I've even interviewed general managers that their family has been, separated, and they've gone through divorces and things like that because their job was their life. And family is important to us at Greenwood. So we want to make sure that we are putting some structures in place to make sure that people are caring for themselves and for their family.
Yeah. I had a boss. And again, of course, it's an ex-boss. I had a boss who used to, always send me these angry emails over the weekend. It's like he never had anything to complain about during the week, but over the weekend when I'm trying to relax, I would always get these angry emails that I have to deal with, and then it would, just throw my whole weekend off. So I can really appreciate what you're saying about, leave it alone. When you're not working, you're not working, and leave employees alone. I think I actually heard that in Germany it's actually illegal. If you're an employer, it's actually illegal to contact your employees outside of work hours. I'm pretty sure that's an actual law in Germany. Yeah, you're not allowed to bug anybody when they're not on duty. So yeah, I hear you on that one. What do you think? I mean, obviously all this stuff is driven by just how tight the labor market is right now, and The labor market, of course, part of the reason it's as tight as it is unemployment rates are so low, and then at the same time, there's a lot of movement for higher minimum wages and things like that. I mean, what are your thoughts on kind of the long-term trends? I mean, do you think that, or the upcoming trend? I mean, do you think that situation is going to continue? Or with unemployment rates being what they are and the minimum wage issue, or do you think it's going to worsen or kind of stay the same? Or, what's your forecast for that, for those factors?
Yeah, I think for me, I believe that, it's only going to be the same or get a little bit tighter, with how we are going with our economy. And so I think as employers, we want to be more proactive. So my thought process is, I don't want to hope for brighter, sunnier days of high unemployment, because we want an economy to thrive. But in the same breath, with that economy thriving, then we want to. It's harder on employers, and employers need to be more strategic in, their thought process on what sets them apart from their competitors. And I said it yesterday in the training that I was doing, and really, the four walls are the four walls. What makes that property different from any other property is the people that work there, So even capitalizing, for a lack of a better word, on the talent that is oozing from a property is important. So for me, I think that it's probably gonna get tighter, but it's forcing us to be more innovative as well.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, great. That kind of covers it for me. Anything else you want to add while I have you on the phone?
No, if I didn't answer any questions, or if you have any follow-up questions that you want to kind of probe me more, don't hesitate to reach out. I so appreciate you reaching out to Greenwood and wanting to connect with us. We love this industry. We love food and beverage and roomside, and again, we love to be a part of the community and give back. So we appreciate that.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks again for your time, and I hope the rest of your trip to Michigan goes well.
Thank you too, as always, Brendan. Thank you for reaching out to me and enabling me the opportunity to kind of bring Greenwood into this. So I appreciate it. And if you need anything else, obviously let us know.
All right. Well, wonderful. Thank you both, and have a wonderful day.
You too.
Thanks. You
Bye-bye.
too. Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.